delighted to be with you here today. I have to say, for this conference, everyone has been so warm and welcoming. I can't help it. I'll be wanting to come back. So the way that I got here today is my 30-year span in the talent arena. Over those years, I've noticed how some managers and some companies have been outstanding at developing their talent so that they're fully prepared for what's ahead in that company, when most could not. That so intrigued me that I decided to do research on what makes those managers so exceptional and turn that research into a book. And we're going to draw from that today. So let's get started. Here's our agenda. I'm really going to present in 3 parts. The first I'll call the opening premise, which is shifting our thinking a little bit about making the managers a more central piece in your talent strategy. Second, we're going to dive in and get a taste of the practices of what we call exceptional development managers. Most managers just think about managerial coaching or perhaps performance management. These are 5 exceptional development manager practices that our managers can learn and do. And then finally, our call to action. How will we take this back to our organizations? The opening premise. The whole idea here is, how do we get across the starting step for opening up this idea of making managers more central? I think some of this will be familiar to you. And as you hear about this opening premise, I'd like you to think about how you get this point across to your senior leadership in your organizations. Here we go. Suppose your company had a full portfolio of great talent management tools and processes. Would you reach your targeted talent goals and objectives to have every employee ready to deliver on your company's business objectives for 2015 and beyond? So I'm going to give you a yes or a no. Would you answer the question as yes? Show of hands. Excellent. Would you give this answer a no? I have to tell you, in groups where I've presented with talent directors and HR executives, the preponderance of answers here is no. They wouldn't be fully prepared. And so let's take a look at why. For most organizations, these are the talent tools that we use. We have a lot of tools and programs. We're filled with them, right? Do these look familiar? Do you have these in your company? Training, performance management, high potential programs, succession management. I don't see any nods of heads. Are these familiar to you? Yes. Okay. We rely on these. These are the mainstay of what we use in our corporations for talent and talent development. Yes, I've not included recruitment, things along that line. But once we have the people on board, these are the things that we use. We've enhanced these over the years. But I am here to tell you that relying on this alone, to embed this as our solution to reaching our talent goals is not enough. And here's why. I'm just going to take what I think is a typical example that I know in great depth because I worked this example for a number of months. I want to tell you about a financial services company. Knowing that they were going to have a migration of managers out of their company due to retirement, and knowing that they were going to have a great expansion of their business in that same period, they invested heavily in talent management. They brought together a new department. They brought in PhDs in the talent arena. They built all kinds of tools. They invited people to be part of it, and people did participate. The talent management department was a beehive of action. They checked in a couple years later and did a study to see how was their pipeline of supervisors, managers, and leaders. Were they ready to take on the expansion? The answer was no. They had hardly moved the needle, hardly moved the dial on getting people more prepared for that expansion. Very disappointing. Enter myself and my team. we were asked to come in and do an assessment and give them, you know, the magic formula that would take them to the right place. The first thing we did was looked at what they had. Oh boy, they had every vendor that you know, the high-end vendors, they had high potential programs, they had mentoring programs, they had training, a whole training curriculum. They had training available for employees 24/7. They encouraged their people to do it. By the time I got done, that part of the assessment, oh my goodness, I was stumped. Actually, I was worried. How could I provide for them? What was holding them back? The next part of the study was to do surveys, interviews, and manager focus groups.